Hey guys, welcome back to another edition of the Counter-Strike Breakdown at Fantasy Sports Insight. This is Hold the Door DFS. I will be providing content for Counter-Strike in our Discord channel as well. So feel free to jump over there. Our room is completely free right now. Along with that, we are also offering free soccer content this weekend before it goes back behind the paywall. Gator does a great job at providing diagrams and color-coded, beautiful pictures for people to basically handpick cash GPP lineups, show upside sets, everything that you would want. So if you're planning on playing some soccer tomorrow, jump over into our Discord channel or check out his video that he has up in our YouTube channel as well. All right, so we are going to start today with the odds. We do have a 4-game slate, which is really nice for Saturday. And what is also really nice is that 2 of the games start at 9:30, 2 of the games start at 1 o'clock Central. So we don't have that 6 a.m. start time. So if we're going to start with the first game here, we have Windstrike against Hardened Legion. Windstrike coming in as a minus 175 favorite. I think that's a little heavy, but I do think the way that they beat up on Simon, that I think that's kind of where the odds are favored that way. Also, I think their talent is a little bit more elite at the top with Elian and Havit and Bondic. So I think that kind of plays into it when they have a little bit more star power in their names, giving them that edge. But I do think we see 3 maps, but I do think Windstrike probably edges them out. Next is Namiga against Simon at minus 115. Both, that's basically a true pick 'em. And I hope that we will get 3 maps and super competitive, because I do think there are some underpriced players based on their skill that we could definitely take advantage of a matchup that would be close and get us 3 maps. G2 and FaZe, that is kind of, I think, what most people are going to be focused on. FaZe has kind of had their number, and FaZe got kind of beat up today. Nico is trolling a little bit on Twitter, I saw. So I think he will definitely come back tomorrow and really try to put a good end to this road to Rio for them. So they will be coming in at minus 150 favorites. We've seen G2 kind of run the roller coaster the last 3 days after getting beat up by Astralis and then beating up on Heretics, letting them come back, and then still winning. Kind of did the same thing against Vitality today. They could have probably ended it in the second map, but then let actually the third map go down to the wire as well. So I think they have some interesting plays based on their prices, but I think that FaZe probably is where we'll be targeting more of the players there. And then the last one is Godsent against North. I think the bookmakers are finally figuring out that North does have some DFS-friendly players, but in terms of actually winning and finishing the matches with Jumpy as their coach and as a sub has been really impacting their performance. But it has opened up like players like AZ to really come up with an even bigger role where he has got to take more carry on the kill side. So I think Godsent has actually some really nice cheap players too at coming in at minus 175 favorite in a game that, again, can be pretty DFS friendly in terms of maps and potentially close rounds getting to overtime. So let's jump over to the lineup builder page. We're going to first look at Windstrike and Hard Legion. Elian coming in at 8,800, played really, really well against Simon. Didn't get the third map, so only took the 20-point bonus. I think he had about 55 going into the third map. If they would have got that, that would have really capped off probably would have been one of the highest scorers on the slate. I think Zaiwu did surpass him after getting 3 maps, but Elian played super sharp. He does a really good job at avoiding the deaths. So I think similar to Zaiwu, where they sometimes will get that first kill and then hang around, let some of the stuff happen, and then try to clean house at the end. Then we go down to Forrester, who I think is a little bit underpriced based on his skill. I have him, his kills per round in the last 3 months at 0.75 is super high. So he is playing really well. He's pretty expensive at FanDuel too. So I think he's definitely in play if you think Hard Legion keeps us close. We'll mention a couple players later on that the prices being that close to his makes it a little bit harder in cash to get Forrester in. Hobbit too. I think Hobbit's a little bit overpriced here. I think he was better suited when he was down in the low 7Ks, mid 7Ks. And then Crad and Bondek are my other guys that I would even consider here. I'm not really looking to punt. If I look down to, I think Lackey, is maybe playable at 6,400 as a punt. Not super big upside. Krizen, not really, getting any interest from me here. So, I'm kind of looking at the top and then maybe down to Lackey. That's about all I'm looking at for here in this game. So let's move it over to Simon and Amiga, which is based on our odds supposed to be the closest game. Lollipop, 21K, comes in as the most expensive player for Amiga, and he's kind of been all over the place during Road to Rio. He was the most expensive player when he's had a couple good games, and then Speedak kind of jumped ahead of him when he had some big games, and then Speedak's been pretty poor since then. Jayo has actually been probably the most consistent out of the three in the last few games, but I think all three of them are potentially good targets. I do think Speedak is probably underpriced at 6,800 if the game stays close. But long-term, Lollipop does definitely edge him out, especially I think in the kills per round department where he is over that 0.7 threshold at 0.73 kills per round in the last 3 months. Kios, I think, will be really popular at 7,600. I think he's definitely in play, and so is Moo. I do lean Kios a little bit more, just long-term stats. I do like him slightly better. Again, the punts are fine here. Again, if I'm punting down here, I don't really want to punt based on their raw performance. I want to punt, if I'm going to punt that low, I really want the sweep because just as an example from a DFS perspective, if Namiga sweeps, he gets 20 points for that third map. If they play the third map, likely Lollipop, Nober, Jayo, these guys up top are going to outscore MDS by anywhere from 10 to 20 points. So instead of him getting an equal quantity of the best players, now the gap widens for those punt plays. Now punt plays can go off too. I mean, Olaf with the ace in overtime the other day, basically saved his round, but he's pretty poor other than that. They didn't get the sweep. So he actually had a decent score because of the triple overtimes, but in that case, no sweep. It was pretty average performance minus that ace play. So again, here I think in cash, Jayo and Kios and Speedak are definitely viable. Lollipop is fine, but as a pick'em, there's just a couple other plays that I like a little bit better. So again, you got to kind of work with your build. We don't have anybody over that 10K range in this slate, so I think it makes these 8K guys. I think you can get probably 3 of them in, depending on how cheap you're willing to go at captain and who are you willing to punt with. Let's move it over to North versus Godsent. Madden coming in at 8,600, which is really baffling to me because he was the third cheapest, or he was the third most expensive on their team the last time they played. I think at 7,000, and now he's all the way up to 8,600, which I do think is probably a little bit more accurate based on his long-term form. Having the highest kill per round between the top 3 in the last 3 months. But it also makes Styko super appealing at 7,000. He's been playing pretty well. And same with Zen. Just the discount you're getting on those two guys for them being a decent favorite. I really, really like Styko here. And then I think on North side, I think we can continue to consider AZ at 8,200. Even against, I think it was Heretics, he just kind of continues to carry the load. He's not having, even in losses or a lost map or a loss in the game overall, I still think he put up 50, 60 points, which is definitely not going to get you a GPP win with that price tag. You want a little bit higher ceiling. But again, we're comparing it relative to the rest of the players on the slate. I don't really think we have the 90, 100-point upside players on this slate besides Nico. So I think AZ at 8,200 is definitely viable in that position. Please do not consider Jumpy, Crystal as well. Those two, I would give you a hard pass. both averaging less than a half a kill per round or worse. Gade has had some big rounds, but I think I prefer to get up to Cajun B if I want another North player. So I think the top three from Godsent I really like. Steicho being my favorite just because how cheap he is. But I think you can definitely use Zen or Madden as well. And AZ is my only real North player I'm targeting. So for FaZe and G2, we've seen Nico's price jump everywhere. But on the biggest stages, other than today, he's performed pretty well. Not only pretty well, but like far ahead of the rest of his team, kind of showing that superpower, uh, so star power, not superpower. So Nico at 8,200 is my number one play on the slate and is locked in every one of my lineups for cash. I think you can fade him in GPP. Would not suggest it for cash. He will be very popular and very affordable in the captain role, depending on how else you play. So I think that is where I would start most of my lineups. Even Brokey down at 6,800. That's what he was priced today as a big underdog, and now he's the same price as a big favorite. And again, he's had a couple of recent games that have been not that great. So, but he's been really good the last 3 months. So I think you can take. If you want to take your recency bias out and really trust that the long-term numbers, I think he's an awesome play at 6,800. Same with Coldzera at 7,400. And then Kenny S has continued to ride a roller coaster too. He had awesome first map today, struggled pretty bad in the second map, and then was kind of mediocre in the third map. Probably paid off his $7,400 price tag, but not really somebody that's first in my lineup today. The rest of these guys, I think Olaf, I think he actually is kind of viable at 5,200. Again, they need probably the sweep, which does take away the upside of Nico a little bit. Nexa has been playing unreal the last two matches after getting destroyed against Australis, which most people have been. So I think that's kind of understandable, but I would definitely say, Nico is my number one play. And then my second favorite play right now, before I get into even a little bit more research, probably Steicho or using Zen. I'm using one of those Godsent 7K players as potential guys to fill out your roster. I think Elian is worth 8,800. It's just, is that going to work with the rest of your construction tomorrow? I don't think he's a better play than Nico by any means. So I think I would prioritize Nico over Elian before anything else. We do get a showdown slate, I think, for North and Godsent, which I would probably suggest using AZ and potentially the three top Godsent players if we think they sweep. If you think it stays close, then you can look at MSL for North, who I think is kind of overplaying his actual talent, but it's more based on the increased role he's taken since Jumpy has inserted into the lineup. Then we will get one clutch slate, and do know that they already moved up the lock time a half hour to 5 o'clock p.m. Central Time. I did not notice they moved that up today before it was too late. So, but obviously, if they know the game's starting earlier, they have no choice but to move up the lock time, so that way the game doesn't start with DK not locked. So that's kind of where I'm at today. Again, feel free to reach out on Discord or on Twitter. Give us a like, a subscribe. We will continue to put out this video content for you guys, and we would love to see you in our Discord channel. We make money tomorrow playing Counter-Strike and soccer. It's going to be a great day to kind of sweat out both of those things. And then we also got some NASCAR, I think, again this weekend. So again, thanks for watching. Check us out at fsidfs.com. Give us a like, subscribe, and hopefully see you guys back tomorrow.